of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, one of the people who is deeply implicated in efforts to silence me. He is one of the people directly responsible for having me kicked out of the Unitarian Church of Montreal for complaining about non-sexual clergy abuse on the part of Reverend Ray Drennan, but he's also involved himself in the numerous complaints to the SPVM that seek to shut down my protest. There's video of John Inder. Good morning. As I say, it's always a good morning when I stand accused of blasphemy by Unitarians in the 21st century. Truly a unique honor and privilege. So anyhow, we got a fair number of people showing up here. And there's been some interesting little conversations we've had this morning. It's nice to see John Inder at least acknowledging that I have a right to be not too happy about not just clergy sexual abuse in the Unitarian Universalist religious community, but well, actually he didn't recognize that I have a right to be upset about the cover-up and denial, because he's actually participated in the cover-up and denial. But he at least recognized that I have a right to be not happy about clergy sex abuse, which includes, but is not limited to, such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. And anyhow, we got a reasonable number of people showing up here this morning, so they're getting to see my picket signs, and it's nice to see somebody wearing a poppy there, remembering the Canadian soldiers who fought and died to preserve the civil rights and liberties that SPVM cops are all too prone to try to suppress. And I don't want to overly state things. You know, some SPVM cops have in fact been quite respectful of my right to protest, especially in recent years. More recently, like in the last, let's say, 2 to 3 years, SPVM cops have been rather more respectful of my right to engage in peaceful public protest than they have been in the past. But it doesn't change the fact that there have been numerous attempts to intimidate me into ceasing and desisting from protesting. And there's been one successful attempt to shut down my protest for 1 full year back in 2007, 2008. And as recently as May 1st of 2016, so let's say a year, not even a year and a half ago, 2 SPVM cops showed up here, or maybe it was 4, but anyway, there was just a couple I was talking to on May 1st of 2016, and they were essentially trying to intimidate me into ending the protest. They were basically telling me that Montreal Unitarians were once again conspiring to bring criminal charges against me, so maybe I should just end the protest before that happened. And my response was, bring it. Let's go. The cops said, on peut upgrader, we can upgrade things. And I said, je peux upgrader moi aussi, I can upgrade too. You want to bring your criminal charges, I'll happily see you in court and we'll see what happens. So yes, as recently as May 1st of 2016, SPVM police officers were threatening me with criminal charges arising out of protesting against clergy abuse in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal in an effort to dissuade me from protesting. And as I said, and you can see the video, it's up there on YouTube along with a whole bunch of other ones. Just look for May 1st, May Day, I believe. May Day 2016 SPVM police intervention, you'll find it. So yeah, just SPVM May Day Unitarian 2016, you'll find it. And quite a few people have seen that one. I think some in the order of 15,000 people have seen that video. I could be wrong. Maybe it's only down around 5,000 or something. But some of the videos of my interventions with SPVM cops, or perhaps I should say SPVM cops' interventions with me, trying to prevent me from engaging in peaceful public protest and so on, have had quite a few views. Some of them are over 10,000 views. I think one's up around 15,000. So that's a reasonable number of views. They're not like viral. It's not like millions of viewers, but it's enough. It's not just 2 or 3 viewers, you know, like quite a number of people have seen these videos of SPVM cops abusing their authority and essentially trying to intimidate me into not practicing the right to engage in peaceful public protest that a whole bunch of Canadian soldiers fought and died for in World War I and World War II and various other wars. So yes, this is my Remembrance Day weekend protest. And one thing that actually sort of gets to me a little bit is that a fair number of SPVM cops are former soldiers. You'd think they might have a higher level of respect for civil rights and freedoms in light of the fact that as soldiers they are ostensibly fighting for freedom of speech and democratic principles and so on, and peaceful public protest is one of the last resorts of the democratic process. Let's just see if my little video camera is still running here. Oh yes, that's good. We got this all recorded. We got about 6 minutes of recording time left in this half-hour segment. So yes, quite a good Remembrance Day weekend protest in front of the Unitarian Church in Montreal today. Oh, and here's another one of the people who've tried to shut down my protest in front of the church. I believe a former president of the board. So yeah, she was there when we had the restraining order hearings. If I remember correctly, she was one of the public witnesses. She wasn't an actual witness for the church, but she was there watching the perversion of justice that went on, as far as I'm concerned. So anyhow, we shall continue our little protest for some time yet, probably at least another half hour. But had a fair number of people showing up today. And yeah, a few of them have poppies. Thanks for remembering the soldiers who fought and died so I could do this. Couldn't resist that one. This woman has clearly shown her dislike for my protest in the past on more than one occasion. So I saw that she was wearing a poppy, so I just thought I'd thank her for remembering the soldiers who fought and died ostensibly so people can engage in peaceful public protest, amongst other things, other civil rights and freedoms and democratic practices that Canadian soldiers fought and died for in World War I, World War II, and various other wars. Oh, and here comes Marlo, what's her name? Another former president of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So she was one of the people who has told me to my face that I have no right to be here. After the church obtained a restraining order on the basis of paranoid fantasies and perjurious lies about me. She was possibly even to some extent implicated in that. Trying to remember if she was one of the people who wrote a deposition to the police about how terribly frightened she was of me. Doesn't seem terribly frightened of me today. Alrighty. So I got a feeling the service probably just started based on the fact that David Rollert's not out there anymore, and it looks like everyone who was outside went in, so looks like it must be just a little bit after 10:30. So here's one more person who doesn't give a shit about the fact that Unitarians cover up sexual abuse of children. And he's by no means the only Montreal Unitarian who totally ignores this protest, pretends it has no validity. But I have a funny feeling, I think I know who that particular fellow is. I could be wrong though. But I think I've had some conversation. Yeah, 10:34. So, okay, I see what that is. I got a text message here. So, and it's a nice one. Nice little text message. I read it in full later. But it actually starts off saying, "I'm sorry." Very Canadian thing to do. I'm sorry. It's unfortunately something that is apparently almost impossible for Unitarians to say. So, still waiting for Unitarians to say sorry for all of the... What?
To say sorry for something?
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm still waiting for Unitarians to say sorry for all of the injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy they're responsible for.
Like what?
Well, like anti-religious intolerance and bigotry, clergy abuse of all kinds, including sexual abuse of children, covering up and hiding clergy abuse, including sexual abuse of children, outright denying sexual abuse of children in worthless apologies, and so on. Oh, and misusing the SPVM and the criminal justice system to try and shut down a peaceful public protest.
Okay. So
that's my main theme today.
Where can I go for information on the sexual
if you just
abusers?
Google, search for, if you just search Unitarian, Universalist clergy abuse,
okay,
or clergy misconduct, because they sometimes prefer to use that word.
Okay.
You'll find information.
Okay.
You'll find my own blog, but you can also, they're starting to admit some things. So even the UU World magazine has